David Kleshahaut was born under a full moon, just as spring had sprung, to a wise mother and a compassionate father. The couple lived in Samsara's land. Really a beautiful, clean, pure place where they enjoyed lucrative and leisurely jobs with the Universal Power and Light Company. The mother, employed by the Space Division, spent much of her time calculating the dimensions of cool, vast open space, while the father, in the Star Division, kept a wholehearted watch on the temperature of a bright and warm neighboring star. Now, when David was conceived, his parents were rather concerned that he might be born with a recessive gene that had plagued the Kleshahauts for eons. Sure enough, David was born with incredibly thick skin. David's parents understood the suffering such a thick epidermal layer would cause. So, on his 3rd birthday, they endowed him with a big, sharp sword with which he could hopefully free himself. And foreseeing potential friendship problems, they also gave him a pet hart, whom David named Matey. Thus, David spent the majority of his formative years sharpening his sword and practicing on the skins of various fruits and vegetables. His parents were more than helpful, supportive too. His wise mother showing him how to be sharp and precise. His compassionate father showing him how to be gentle and kind. And with these tools, David worked hard. He cut and cut and cut and cut, but never succeeded. And while Samsara's land remained a beautiful, clean, clear place, to David it was a barren wasteland. So, unable to face his parents or the world around him, David would seek refuge in the confines of his own room, where he could safely fly his kite from the window and dream of a spacious escape. Now, Matey and David had become true friends, and true friends don't always just try to cheer one another up. Sometimes they come right out and tell the plain and awful, simple, nasty truth.
You're right. What's the use? Maybe this skin isn't so bad after all.
It was at the very end of that extended exhale that David very simply gave in to his confining epidermis. Thus, finally accommodated by David's change in attitude, his skin just sloughed right off onto the floor.
Yes, David. Yes, David, what is it? Oh, hey, well, would you look at that? Well, that's great, David. Now run along. Your mother and I have some reading left to do before we get back to work.
At a loss from his parents' response, all David could do was think.
Why weren't they more receptive?
They had to have noticed.
What
Didn't
if I'm
I do
wrong?
something wrong?
I can't be
Maybe
wrong.
my
am
skin
I?
really didn't fall off. Do they even
Maybe
care?
I'm dreaming.
Maybe they're jealous.
Why weren't they more
Maybe
receptive?
they don't really love me. They had to have noticed.
Maybe they're
Didn't I do something wrong?
Life
Maybe
goes
my
on.
skin really didn't fall off.
Maybe I shouldn't really worry about it. But what if I did do something wrong? My skin did fall off, didn't it? What if it's going to grow back? What do they know that I don't? Maybe... Why weren't
Didn't
they
they
more
notice?
receptive? What if
They
I'm
had
wrong?
to have noticed.
I can't
Didn't
be
I
wrong.
do something
am I?
wrong? Do they
Maybe
even
my
care?
skin really didn't fall
Why
off.
weren't they more receptive?
While David laid there in a paranoid frenzy of thinking,
It was fake.
the moon was outside, full, just like on the night of his birth. His old skin remained in a heap at the base of his bed, and his parents sat in the living room calmly enjoying a pot of tea. What they did understand, much better than David, was that his work was far from over. It's just too bad David didn't understand, because that moonlight that shone just like on the night of his birth had a strange effect on that pile of old sloughed-off skin. An effect that at first was just too much for David to accept. David's own personal demons, once trapped in that thick skin, were now free to make an appearance. And boy, were they hungry.
What was that? There was nothing wrong. What could possibly be wrong? Okay, so something is wrong.
There they appeared in their mocking shapes and sizes. There were skinny ones, and fluffy ones, and nutty ones, flappy ones, and there were, well, there were other ones too. Of course, David was scared, but eventually mustered just enough courage to face his demons, face to face. And by looking straight at his new roommates, David discovered that they were not quite as scary as they had once seemed. David sat there staring for some time, the demons locked in his gaze. But eventually, David's eyes got tired and tired and tired until the demons were once again free to wreak havoc. In the midst of the pandemonium, it finally occurred to David that maybe he should simply try to be nice.
Hold it!
He was, after all, raised to believe that kindness was always the best policy.
I don't know what you want or why you're here. But if you could please, just leave.
Unfortunately for